Like, what is it that Shree Cooper hasn't done that I can say he should do to say he's done it all?
He won that championship. That was it.
Everything. He's done everything. He's scored a lot of assists.
The only thing that can cap off his career is becoming Mr. Basketball.
So why is it that when I watch Wild and Odom, did I feel like he's the best player? Every time I watch the Wild Odom play, I feel like I'm seeing something special. Like I'm seeing something that I'm not gonna maybe not see again. I said that for a long time. BJ Boston was my favorite high school player in Georgia. I don't get that feeling that I'm seeing something I'll never see again. Yo, it's the Love the Game podcast. We are back. We're in the building. This is episode 97. 97 since the I think we started these numbers over when we started the lockdown, right?
Yeah.
I hope we don't have to go through that again. But
me neither.
Don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it. Okay, we're gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to jinx it.
Let's
we're
hope
back in the building. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Can't complain. Pretty good. Good.
I feel like he's gonna come in here and be really like amped up and excited, man.
I probably would have been, but I just got home from work. So, you know, if you want me to, I can get going.
You can turn up.
Yeah, I can get going.
I mean, I just thought that like we're gonna be on a happy note because like your Wizards are doing really good in free agency. Like y'all
Are they? I mean, I think they're doing okay, but others think they're not. But you know, I have two teams, by the way. So,
right.
If you didn't remember, you know, Lakers are my team and the Wizards are my team. I think the Wizards got some good pieces though, and I think Kyle Kuzma will actually be better in DC because it's less pressure.
I agree with that.
Yeah, actually play and just, you know, perform and try to get better.
And potentially less distractions on not having to do the Hollywood life.
Less distractions, not LA. Now it is DC. Now there's so many distractions in DC.
Now, again,
not as much.
You're correct. But
you're not playing with LeBron.
Correct. You're not following in LeBron stuff and having to adhere to what LeBron says and his team.
Who else did we sign?
I think it's different playing for a team that automatically is like all the spotlight is on them and in the running for a championship too.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't particularly care for our pick at number 15, I think 14 and 15 with Cody Kispert. I thought it was a solid pick though because I think with what we traded for, you got to always have people that can spread the floor. You know what I mean? And knock down that shot. But I think people were saying that he was a little high to drafted that spot. Got somebody with a little bit more athletic ability, I guess. But I think they made up for it by going and getting Isaiah Todd later on. So I think they've got some things. They got some.
The Lakers? Or was this the Wizards?
Nah, the Wizards got Isaiah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
I think we still need a point guard, and I think we really could have used that 15th. If we didn't get Kispert, I think we could have used that 15th to get a point guard. Like it could have needed, I don't even know who, Cooper, somebody. They really need a point guard. But other than that,
Dinwiddie as the point guard, right? Oh,
he's not really a point guard.
He's not a point. He's a two guy.
Yeah,
he's a 2-3.
That's gonna be interesting.
So I mean, I think they've got some, and they got some good guys that a lot of people don't know from last year that are coming back as far as forwards and stuff like that. And they got Hachimura who's coming back. The other guy coming out, Thomas Bryant coming off the ACL. So they got some pieces. Still think they need a point guard though. So,
but they're really going to need a productive year from Thomas Bryant.
Yeah,
Mr.
Yeah.
From Manchester. Yeah, he's going to have to come through because he only played 1-2 years at IU, and then next you know he's in the league and he's had his struggles, and injuries. So
yeah.
I think Dinwiddie's gonna do well, man. I mean, even running the point to me, he's been. I mean, I know he moved over as a 2 guy when Kyrie and all those guys came, but before that, he was rocking out as the point guard for the Nets.
I think he could, bro. I think
young. It was Joe Harris and those guys. Like,
yeah,
he rocked out for them.
For $65 million, he gonna be better for what he about. I mean, he got a lot of money. So.
I don't know if they make the playoffs or not. I mean, this season, but I think
they've got to be healthy the whole year to make the playoffs, and if they do, to be 7 or 8.
Yeah, but I think too though is that like their sale to Bradley Beal is gonna be, you know what I mean? Like we're starting to build pieces around you. We got you a quality or at least a solid, respectable number 2, right? Like you're our guy. We brought you a number 2. We got KCP. We drafted another shooter, right? Like they're, you know what I mean? To me, I think they're trying to.
They got some pieces, yeah.
Yeah, you got schools saying that this is gonna be our third option. You know, that's not bad for the East.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
They just got a bunch of players on their roster that nobody knows. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be, they got to perform. Like Daniel Gafford, he's pretty good. Davis Bertans, if he shoot the ball well. So we got some players, but we'll see.
Yeah, remind me. I got to talk about that Isaiah Todd thing, and players like him a little bit later though. But I want to something that 7-8 means they're better than Indiana, Chicago, Charlotte. I don't know that they're better than Chicago.
I don't know if they're better than them.
I don't know if they're better than Chicago. Chicago got some heat.
Chicago got some pieces, but Chicago might move up to 5 or 4.
Yeah.
Chicago can play defense.
You talk about that
group.
But I mean, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Lonzo, DeRozan.
They got some hired guns.
It's gonna be tough. I want to see what they do. I think, like, how does Kobe White take coming off the bench?
Ooh.
Like, how does he?
I think Kobe White is, Kobe White's good. He's been good at Chicago, but that's the tough one. That's gonna be interesting.
But that's another team trying to sell their guy into saying, "Look, we believe that you're our guy." Right? They're trying to sell Zach LaVine and say, "You know, we're doing this for you. You're our guy." So I wonder, you know, how Kobe White is going to take that.
I think Philly may drop a little bit, but you know, we'll see how that plays out.
Hey, I knew he was putting Atlanta up there in the top 6.
Of course, yeah. I mean, Atlanta will be there.
I knew Huff was doing that. Huff, I got smoke for you though. I got smoke for you though, Huff. I don't. There's been a lot of. Well, hold on, wait. Before we go any further, Alfonso, do you want to talk about what New York is doing? Do you like it? Bringing everybody back?
Listen, Kevin Knox, unfortunately, may need to move or at least find keep his stuff in the bag and in boxes because he's headed out to Summer League for the 4th straight year. So he's obviously being paraded around as an individual that they're shopping.
Yeah.
They may not physically say it.
That's tough.
You know? I mean, and I hate it for the kid because he ended up being 18 years old, stuck in New York. And New York fans are not kind sometimes. And then with this new regime of individuals, which I like kind of what they're doing. I mean, and when I say kind of is now you have, I wish they would allow the guards that they drafted to play out a little bit, but you're bringing in Kemba, Evan Fournier, and I'm just like, all right, we got a ton of offense, but New York has never been known, even when Rick Pitino was the head coach, never been known as this high-powered offense. It's all been a gritty grind. Thibodeau is that kind of guy.
Yep.
And, Kemba's going to do what Kemba does. It's going to be interesting to see with him and D Rose every now and then in the backcourt together. I do like the fact that Mitchell Robinson is getting healthier. But there's still a lot to be said and a lot of concerns on. And Bryce even said is like it depends on how healthy they are, because you have guys and you have the pieces, but I still always felt that the Knicks were on a 3-year project anyway. So this is year 2 of that project.
I like it. I don't have a issue with what they're doing. I mean, at least I feel like for the first time in a long time, there's some stability in New York.
Oh, absolutely. Leon Rose and all those guys, like they're gonna bring World Wide West. They're gonna bring that. My thing is this: it's just like any other team out there in the NBA, is start building some of these pieces around some of these young core guys, because let's be real. I mean, and it sounds crazy, but Rose is an older dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna, time is gonna fizzle him out. And yes, you got Kemba. He's gonna do what Kemba does, but Kemba's also been injured the last few years. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't played a full 82. He hasn't been on load management. He's been on the IR. You know what I mean? So those are the concerns. And then you're gonna build the youth, but when are you gonna give them a shot? I mean, don't build them up to ship them out. That's why the Yankees are terrible right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because they at least did their homegrown stuff when they was winning.
Yeah.
So don't build them up to ship them out, because that's almost like what I feel might happen, with the exception of RJ Barrett. But it's that's what my concern is as a fan. I mean, I'm hoping that.
I hope they keep Mitchell Robinson too.
Oh, listen, that is my one piece that I know I need them to keep. They got 900, 6'8" to 6'11" forwards, so they got to keep him, because he's probably been the most impressive and most active since he came into the league.
Yeah, I think, with the Knicks, man, like I think at least every NBA team is not trying to win a championship.
No.
And there are some NBA teams who I think are trying to do the right thing and rebuild a lot of mistrust. I think the Celtics would be smart to take a look at what New York is doing right now. We're going to take care of guys. We're going to just start off by doing the right thing, because selling New York and being here in New York when all there has been is a lot of dysfunction is not working. You're not landing that big superstar to save you like some other places may have to do. You're going to have to rebuild that reputation and rebuild some trust around the league. I think they're doing a pretty good job of doing that.
Well, and I agree with that. I just, like I said, I'm more as a Knicks fan. I've been down this road already a few times. And I'm realistic to understand that, hey, it may be a while before we get to this chip. Because when you look at, as you mentioned, when you look at the surrounding things, and this past postseason was probably one of the, when I saw the seedings come out, I was like, dude, if we just get through Atlanta, we could actually make a run, because we had some matchup advantages in some cases over some of the teams to get to the finals. I mean, I didn't say we was going to win the finals.
Right.
It was get there, and I was just surprised we did what we did in such a COVID quote unquote year. And I was just more of like, hey, I'm happy. But again, I'm not going to go open up the bottle of champagne just yet. I mean, right. It was like I'll open up, the apple cider. Just to get a little bit of a taste of good life.
Yeah,
down this road, man. And I don't want it to be like, oh man, we on the right track. Like, now we on the track. I just don't know how right it is. and I don't know if it's gonna be like, the coyote blows it up in front of us and we end up downhill soon thereafter.
I hope not. I hope people see them taking care of Derrick Rose and taking care of, re-signing, some of their other guys. And I hope people say, okay, maybe I can give them a chance. I hope that works out.
But what I do need is for Evan Fournier to play like he playing in the Olympics, though. That's what I do need. Don't give me the you're not gonna play like that. Now that you got this contract in New York, like I need you to make believe you wearing the French uniform, and if we got to get it so that you can wear it underneath the Knicks uniform. You know what I mean? Look, I need that Evan Fournier, not the one that we occasionally see in the NBA.
There's been a lot of talk of him being a player for a long time, man. I hope it works out for him too. I feel like the NBA is better when the Knicks are good, when the Knicks are at least respectable. Like they have to be good.
From a media perspective, it's exceptional because again, you're talking about the number one media market in the world. So yes, from that standpoint is exceptional. I mean, look at Jeremy. Let's just go back to, again, I'll just take a Jeremy Lin. Like Jeremy Lin shouldn't be in the NBA, but because he went off that year with the Knicks, it's like he's remained in the NBA. That's not a knock on him.
Sure.
I actually saw him in college and believed that he could play pro ball, but to play as long as he has to be able to earn an NBA pension in the NBA, it only happened because he decided to go crazy.
That 1 year.
Yeah, that 1 year he went nuts. Why? There was nobody on the Knicks. So he decided to take it upon himself to be like, hey, but as soon as he got splashed on the Sports Illustrated cover, that was it. It's like I knew right then and there the Knicks didn't need to re-sign him because they need to go ahead and let somebody else spend the money on him. And he hasn't been the same since. So I just don't want, what I don't want is the short. I mean, New York as a media market is going to create a lot of buzz. As you said, if they can create some trust where they can see that, okay, the owner is supporting stuff financially, which he's always going to, is just getting out of the way and trusting the people who are running basketball stuff at the time. You know what I mean? It's not someone who like him, he's there, but he's not a smart individual when it comes to running basketball stuff.
I want to take something you said, man. When you said you went to see Jeremy Lin and you could see that he was a pro player. We got a couple of guys that are in the league right now that one guy in particular, I felt like I absolutely like, this is a pro. And then another guy that I felt like was a really good player that turned out to be a pro, and I think is going to be a really good pro. So I'm gonna just ask this question for you guys. Did you, or especially Locke, I know this is somebody you saw a lot. When you saw Davion Mitchell play at Liberty County, did you get that feeling that you were watching a pro?
Yeah. Well, not probably an NBA pro.
Correct.
Not
I'm
an
talking about the league. Yeah, I'm talking about the league.
Not a. You knew he was good. You knew he was high major, but he still had that game where it's a different style when you're playing from the country and you playing in here in Atlanta. Yep. So the style of play he was playing didn't play with as much pace. He was just athletic. He can play, but I didn't think he was an NBA player. I thought it was a pro getting paid overseas, but I didn't think he was an NBA player.
And that was my thought too. Yeah. Not about him. Because I saw him, again, when he was younger playing for the Stars. And I'm like, yeah, he was, like Locke said, I could see him. Yeah, he's going to go to school. He's going to ball out. Depending on where he ends up going, could determine where he ends up playing, where he ends up playing professionally.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times when people talk about that, like you just mentioned, Dre, like we end up talking about strictly the pros, right? Excuse me, strictly the NBA, which is what everybody wants, no question. But he's a kid who could have, at that time, I would have argued people and been like, yeah, he's going to play professionally, whether he plays overseas or in the NBA, it was yet to be determined. It's no different than Scotty Lewis.
Ooh,
because when Scotty Lewis was around the same age,
man,
everybody was like anointing him as the next MJ.
Yeah,
and that's no lie. Playing for the Reach Higher Kings. You know what I mean? So he ended up, unfortunately for him.
Hey, no, tell people that they don't know Scotty Lewis from Georgia.
Yeah, I know. He ended up going up to Jersey.
Yeah.
Just to go to school up there, but he was playing here.
Yes.
Let me put it to you, that roster had him, and I can't remember the other kid's name, but the other kid who stands out to me is Kyle Hamilton, who's playing at Notre Dame, who he easily could have been a Division I basketball player himself, but he will be called on the first round this next NFL draft that comes out. He will be a first rounder because he's one of the baddest safeties and corners in the country. So, but that group of kids, man, they were running through Georgia like it was nothing. So having those kind of, you have that narrative and conversations where people need to understand, like, you just don't know how the development of a person is going to be, And when I saw Jeremy Lin, he was a sophomore at Harvard, and I had gone to a team camp just to I was just there for a team camp to basically see what the Ivy League teams do, and I was impressed with Coach Amica's stuff. But I watched him, I was like, dude, he got a chance, and they were really high on him. But when he ended up in the league, I was like, dude, I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? I unfortunately had my own typical biases, and I apologize about that. Where I was like, dude, he'll go overseas to China and make a mint. But now he's made that mint to some degree where he's played in the NBA. And that's all you need is them 3 letters to say you played in the NBA. You could go overseas and make a nice check.
Yeah, for sure. I like it, man. That there are certainly some guys that I'm gonna be like really rooting for. Well, wait, before I go to that though, I do want to go back to Davion Mitchell because I think this is important. 2 things for him that I think kids are kind of getting discouraged by right now is that, number one, everybody is so in a rush to get there. And Davion Mitchell was a full 4-year guy, right? Before he left college to go to the NBA.
Well, he transferred, but yeah.
He left Auburn.
Yeah, and transferred to Baylor.
Which is the other thing that I want to get to, though. But I do want to remind people that you can develop in college. Davion Mitchell definitely developed from people who thought that – I didn't think he was a pro. I thought he was going to be a really good college player, but I didn't know he was going to be a pro. To maybe Locke or Alfonso feeling like, well, he's got a chance to be a pro, but maybe not NBA, to being a lottery pick.
Well, here's the thing about that. I knew you was going to mention the lottery component. Yeah, he was a pure, and Locke, I could be wrong, pure basically scorer when he was a younger dude.
No,
he was a pure scorer. He went off to college. Whatever happened at Auburn, maybe Locke can give you more insight on. But then went to Baylor and not only transformed himself, not only transformed himself on the court, but off the court as well, and bought into the concept of, yo, let me be a defender, because when they made their run the last 2 years, he was the primary defender.
Yeah.
He was the dog that was let off the leash and say, yo, go get him. It didn't matter what it is. Now, the beauty about it, he bought into playing defense and obviously never lost his ability to run a team and score. So that helps when you're able to be a solid defender, which some kids don't want to buy into. All right. And then he didn't lose the, hey, I can still get 30 if I need to. But he was able to lock down guys, and when they made that run, he was certainly one of the catalysts, if not the catalyst, of them being successful to win that championship.
There's a statement from Bruce Pearl that I want to read that I think adds some context. This is Bruce Pearl being interviewed and asked about Davion Mitchell as Auburn is getting ready to play Baylor. He said, I love Davion. I loved him as a recruit. He committed to us 2 years before he was even done at Liberty County. Just a great kid, great family. When he first got here, he was actually playing ahead of Jared Harper. Jared winded up eking out the starting job. And they played some together. Jared being just a sophomore, I think Davion said, you know what? I want to run a team. I want my name on whatever. I don't blame him, but it broke my heart because I loved him. I didn't want him to leave.
It happens.
But you know what? That's what I just said between the style of play from a kid that's from the country and a kid that's from Atlanta. Because I'm pretty sure Jared was a more posed point guard and shot the ball better than Davion. Davion was known for being athletic and scoring the ball, like you said. We seen Davion dunks.
Right. I do want to ask this question though, because there's so much to be said about kids not being willing to stick it out and fight through adversity. Where this is a situation where Davion transferred and it ended up with him winning a national championship and being drafted in the NBA lottery.
But a lot of people, I see what you're saying when it comes to the diversement part, because he was an incoming freshman at the time and he's sitting behind a guy who's a sophomore. All right. You don't, in his eyes, he's probably not believing or thinking that Jared's going to leave early so I could get the show. You know what I mean? Because he says, dude, he's a sophomore.
Yep.
I may end up having to sit behind him almost 3 years. Like, and that's not anything that anybody wants to deal with sometimes. Like, yeah, people sit there and go, oh, well, these Alabama quarterbacks did that. That's different because that's one snap away from being the game, you know what I mean, the game day quarterback when you're playing football. But when it comes to basketball, there's no guarantee that somebody's going to get injured and you're going to be able to replace them. And if, let's say, Jared would have never had the seasons he had, I mean, the kid's got, and he decides to stay. If he would have decided to stay, he would have just would have been able to be like, okay, I'm only going to get the start and run my own program or run the own team as a senior in college. He just took it upon himself, found a place in need of his services. Again, reinvented himself defensively, and he's a national champion, a first-round pick. And I'm sure he's wearing number 15 because it's his day down there in Liberty County. So, you know, he's keeping it up with the city. So I'm not mad at him. That's what you call betting on yourself.
Are we too hard on some kids that do that?
Huh?
Are we too hard on some kids that do that?
Depending on the reason. Depending on the reason, if you just transferring because you don't like the color of the sneakers that they gave you,
I don't think we were hard on him because we realized, or he probably realized, like we all knew that how deep they were at the point guard position. We're at Auburn, and it made sense.
He knew the situation.
Yeah, some kids just bounce because they don't get what they want. You know what I mean? Or they're not working hard enough. Whatever the reason is. It could be coaching. It could be either one. But for his, I think he was justified in the reason. I think even as coaches, sometimes we understand, like, man, we got a couple of kids in that position. I don't want to take you, and then that's going to maybe hinder your recruitment or hinder your playing time. So it's kind of what happened at Auburn too. You know what I mean?
And I think we knew how talented he was.
Yeah, we knew. Right.
When the kid is talented, we don't really question their moves sometimes.
Yeah.
Because Flag came in after him, right? Flag came in after him at Baylor, didn't he?
Yep.
So again, it's a similar situation. Flag was productive at Presbyterian, right?
Very productive, yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, he wanted to challenge himself.
Sure.
So you don't, you kind of sit there and scratch your head and go, why does a kid leave a school that he was very productive at to gamble on himself at another school to see if it translates up. But he took it upon himself to do so. And he too is now a champion with the possibility of changing his futures.
Yeah, and he has his own day in Duluth.
Yeah. So I mean, it just all depends, with some of these kids, because the thing about it that I notice, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, the pattern when it comes to kids changing or transferring doesn't start in college. It starts in high school and the travel teams you're with. So those guys, for the most part, played on one travel team, one high school, right?
Yeah.
For the most part. Let's just say for the most part. Yep. Which you notice some of the ones who do constantly transfer, whether it's in Georgia or outside of Georgia, they've played on multiple teams and multiple high schools. And have always been like, it's someone else's fault. These guys, like Flag, he was overlooked. And Mitchell went to a place that just had too many cars on the lot. You know what I mean? Too many cars on the lot. So you gotta find a way. You just gotta find yourself in a better situation. And it's no difference. Like even us as adults, sometimes we do it. We leave jobs that we like, all right, a better situation for myself. It's how sometimes I look at the college perspective.
Yeah, I definitely I definitely think sometimes we can get cliche-ish with advice to kids, and it is more of a case-by-case basis at times. You got to know how to maneuver and how to move around out here for sure. But I saw Davion Mitchell play today with Sacramento.
He looks good.
I think he looks really good, Locke. I do. I think he looks really good.
Yeah, Mitchell's going to kill in the league in the NBA.
Yeah, because it's wide open space, and I'm just wondering how that backcourt, them practices with him and Fox Adam, boy, they're gonna be fun to watch, boy. They're gonna be fun to watch because you got a fox and a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A fox and a dog.
Fox and a dog.
It's going to be tough to stop, man. I want to see what they do. But he was having a rough day scoring the ball. But outside of that, the shots were good and he was moving really good. Now, I mean, they were playing the Lakers, so he wasn't really playing against an NBA team, but he looked a lot better than those guys.
The NBA players, if they got invited to Summer League, baby.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, my dude Jordan Floyd on the Lakers.
How did he look? Because I didn't get to see that.
He didn't play the first game on Tuesday night, but he played last night. He didn't really play much that first game, but he got some good minutes last game, man. Like, that's a story. I'm going back home to do EJ Brown count. That's a story I'm gonna tell about Jordan Floyd, who a high school kid graduating and didn't have no offers. End up going to Albany State. Like you said, the situations didn't work out well at Albany State. Kings College, average 30, led
in Pennsylvania, correct?
In scoring.
Was that the one in Pennsylvania or in Tennessee? Tennessee.
Went to Kings College, average 30. Then went overseas, average like 25, 26 points. Now that COVID, where it did calm down, now they started the summer league. Now he got a summer league job or a position. Like, they just tell you everybody's path is different.
Yeah.
And like you say, he betted on himself as well, leaving Albany State, who wasn't even on a full ride.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that just shows that, again, the amount of work you do and what he did obviously at Albany State translated at King's College. You know what I mean? Whatever he was able to do, and that's what people don't realize is depending on what a school's looking for, you got to still produce. You have to still produce. You can't just go, I'm going to sit here and what I did should speak for itself and not produce as close to what they recruited you to do. Because if you can't produce at that level so as close to what they wanted you to do, it's going to be hard for you to get the time you want.
I do want to I want to talk about this too. We got a comment from Alton Lee with the NCAA endorsement deals wide open. Everything will change. Mikey Williams has already signed with the agent.
Hey, Mikey's not going to college.
Yeah, like Mike isn't. He's an exception to the rule almost.
He doesn't need to.
Yeah,
he don't need to go. His best bet is to not go to college, and I'm not talking about for the money. I'm talking about basketball wise. He don't. Need to go.
I agree.
Correct.
I agree, Bryce. I don't.
It's not a good idea.
I'll leave it at that. I think you're right. But I did do a little research on these name, image, and likeness deals, and I wanted to kind of share some of this stuff and let y'all weigh in on it, on some things that people have to remember as they sign some of these deals. One of the things to look out for is that, like, you can't just sign. I think people think you can just sign with whatever company or do whatever deal that you want. You cannot. I think we know how the NCAA works, if nothing else. You can't do a deal that can harm the school's reputation. So, like, a student, for example, could not like go sign a deal with Backwoods. Like, you can't do that. They're not gonna let you sign like a St. Ives, or I don't know what type of beer people, Old English.
Oh, wait a minute. You just showed your age there with St. Ives.
I know, right? I know.
What is wrong with you? Like, dude.
Man, I'm from where I'm from, bro. Like, I don't know.
I know, I get it. I get it. Who raised you? Now I'm just like
I'm from where I'm from. So you cannot sign a deal that would be an issue with the school's reputation. What they can do in those cases, you can't sign a deal that conflicts with the school's current sponsor. So if you're sign a Nike deal, you can't go to an Adidas school, or I mean, you could, but what the school could then do is require modifications to your deal. And they can kind of say, because we have this deal that conflicts with what your deal is, here are some terms that we demand. And it's one, you have a choice to make at that point. Either you take your deal somewhere else, right, if you can, or you have to, I mean, you can terminate the deal and not take it at all, or you have to agree to make the modifications to your deal, or the company has to agree to make modifications to your deal so that it doesn't conflict with any school sponsors.
You also can wear to use the school colors in some cases.
True. You cannot. Without a modification to the deal, you cannot. Correct. You can't also you can't have anything in your deal with a bonus structure that represents like a pay to play type deal. So you can't have any bonuses that are due to like games played, points scored, assists, any type of awards that you can earn on the floor. Yeah, you can't have a deal that handles any of that. Man, that Louisville blood is running through Dewan Wagner Jr.'s veins, man. He got it from his pops. He can't help it. Of course, yeah, he's amazing.
He's going to play for Calipari, man.
Probably.
Come on.
Hurts me, man. One scenario that I want to run by you guys that I thought was pretty cool to think about. Let's say back when Ant-Man was at UGA, he had an image and likeness deal, and the dunk that he had at Vandy, where he dunked the dude basically through the floor, and the whole thing went viral, and it was all over social media and all of that stuff. The culture needs to see Camden versus Willard. I agree. I'm paying to watch it. At Willard, though.
We shouldn't have to pay. We should have front row seats, VIP.
I agree. And popcorn.
Yeah.
And popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
That game should be at Willard.
Yeah, we make that happen.
But let's say Anthony Edwards makes that play, right? And a third party which would be any third-party cameraman. I think we all know who would have been recording and who would have caught that play from the city. A third party captures that play. Who does the footage actually belong to? If he has a image and likeness deal, does the footage belong to Ant? Does the footage belong to the third party company that recorded it? Does it belong to the school because he's playing in school uniform? Who has rights to that play? Let's say game winning shot, he knocks down a game winner and win a championship. One shining moment. It's all, a big thing. Who owns that piece of content?
Well, if it was publicized, all right, let's say this game is on TV, which it was, right? And whatever network is, they're going to have the first owning rights unless they had someone from this third party company sitting on the sideline recording this. See, because none of the shining moments are owned by the school. They can replay it a little bit, but they can't, they really don't own them rights. CBS and the NCAA own those rights.
Yep.
So you can't, now if he dunks it, and people go crazy over it, whoever took the image, from their own personal stuff, then he can have that conversation and potential negotiation power to be able to say, hey, let me get that if you don't mind, because again, any game that is publicized is gonna be owned by either the league or the NCAA.
I'm gonna toss a couple more curveballs in here before we get to the right answer. But one of the curveballs I'm gonna say is, did the school, right, allow or grant any rights to use their trademark, right? So I'm really asking, can this player who has this image and likeness deal go take this piece of footage and use it for his deal, right? As a part of his deal, can he take that footage and turn it into a commercial? Can he do anything with that footage? Did the school grant rights to use the trademarks? Did he have any teammates or opposing players who have their own deal also in that footage? Like, what if the guy he dunked on had an NIL deal with another company?
Well, with Aspirin?
Right?
Great. I look at it like this.
That makes it kind of tough.
If the cameraman or the TV company wasn't recording, then how would the video even be seen? So, but doesn't it belong? It would belong to them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
like you said, they're recording.
True. TV is gonna TV.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think TV is gonna TV, but
I
think we also have a lot of these.
That's my kind of issue with the kids now, because they're the one playing and they're the one performing, but the cameraman, media, whoever go out to these games and follow these young kids, and the kids are not getting anything off of the dunks and the 3-point shots and the mixes. They don't really make any money off that. The media is the one kind of, you know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like, that's my thing. And that's why I'm kind of happy that some of these kids are going to take the money now, because I feel like they're getting used, like, especially by the big media companies. Like, they follow them around and record on iPhones. Kids ain't getting nothing for that. And that's them putting in the work.
Correct.
So,
and Dave, I want to make sure that everybody understands where we're going, because that's a good statement that the NCAA has verbiage that says all rights and trademarks reserved.
Right.
With these NIL deals, right? Image and likeness deals. Are there terms in? I'm assuming that there could be terms in the deal that says we can use this athlete in school uniform, right? And I'm not talking about the CBS feed, right? I'm talking about I hired Truvon, or I hired, you know what I mean? My media guy to come and record this game, and this is footage that he also captured. Do I have rights to my own stuff now because I have this deal? And I think it gets kind of tricky because there are team deals being signed now, not just individual player deals. University of Central Florida, their women's team, a moving company actually sponsored their team. They have an image and likeness deal with the moving company for the entire team. Like this is getting turned up.
Well, part of it too, and it's smart on Central Florida's part. All right, because then you don't. I've watched their Central Florida women's basketball program, and they're coming around and they're doing great things in Orlando. But possibly not every girl is going to, not every athlete on that team is going to get a deal.
Yep.
All right. So why not go ahead and say, hey, let me get all these girls. We already consider ourselves the University of Orlando. You know what I mean? Like that's of truly Central Florida, because they're actually in Central Florida, and they are the biggest public school in the state, if I'm not mistaken. But so why not continue that movement and that vibe? That moving company is like, hey, we could get all these girls, and they're also smart because women sell things. So
a lot more than men, actually.
Correct. So you put the fact that they got to deal with them 8 times out of 10, somebody's going to go and pay attention to it because women are part of it. It's just a fact. And you just need to, again, whoever the deal was with is smart in saying, what do I have to lose? Because they were a moving company before. They were doing relatively decent, apparently, because you got to have some sort of money to be able to give these girls a deal. And these girls are going to use them for whenever they move, any presentation on campus, all these things. So the moving company wins. These players are going to win when they have, I remember when I was down there and they had a matchup against UConn, and they was trying to get that promoted, and and the promotion was pretty solid. But now you add the money of this moving company can be involved in this now, and they can create and help generate campus awareness on their girls program at UCF. So,
right.
I mean, think about the deals that are being made, and most of the young ladies playing ball or playing athletics, they're getting the deals. I mean, I've seen some twins that got what was it? It wasn't T-Mobile, but it was Boost Mobile. They got a Boost Mobile deal. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, yo, what's in that deal?
Yes.
You know what I mean? What's in that deal? Like, do they give up their cell phones and have free cell phones for however long that deal is? Or what's the situation? And when they were being interviewed, they literally every third word was like, man, we appreciate Boost Mobile. Man, Boost Mobile is one of the better companies that we got a deal from. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, dude, they really are on target right now.
Laced them. I'm telling you, because I think people are we always talk about the top players. We always talk about the Ant-Mans, the Jonathan Kumingas, all those guys. We always talk about those guys. I think the women's deals are going to be on average, right? Per capita, as they say. The women's deals are going to be larger and more frequent, I think.
I'm waiting for the Page girl to see what her deals are.
Page, yeah, she's gonna get a bag.
And she just went on ESPN, talked about social justice issues and how she's benefited off of who she is, but in a sport that is run and played by blacks. Like, she understands where she's at, and she's gonna generate a ton of advertising dollars behind that, because they're gonna look at her and it's like, and I'm not trying to be funny, this is facts. She's a white girl who plays ball and is really good at it.
Really good.
Who also has a best friend that was drafted very highly in the NBA as well. Like, I think they're going to use that thing and be able to play off that also. But I do want to say this though too, and I've said this for a long time. I don't think all the deals, even all the big deals, are going to be tied to production that's on the court.
That's okay though. If I get a Bojangles deal, I'm good with that.
I think it's going to be tied to people who have a big brand. And if you look at especially players on the women's side who may not be household names, they do have a heavy following on Instagram. They do have a heavy following on social media, modeling deals, all kinds of influencer deals. Like, I think it's on the women's side, I think it's going to go crazy. Like, they have an opportunity to really get a bag. And a lot of times, because women kind of mature and everything a lot faster than we do, I think they're gonna have the brand building, the personality, that type of swag to be able to pull off some of these big time deals, regardless if they're a big time player or not.
Yeah, because I look at it like if those y'all remember those twins,
the Gonzalez twins from
UNLV twins.
Yeah.
Like if this was around when they played,
it'll break the bank.
It didn't matter what they did on the court.
No, but look, the girls I'm talking about are the Fresno State twins.
No, I'm not.
No. They're the Fresno. They're the ones with the Boost Mobile.
Okay.
They ended up. They played for Fresno State. I didn't even know there was a set of twins on Fresno State women's basketball program, but they are, and they're the ones who talked about the money that they made, like literally at midnight, what they were able to sign. They didn't talk numbers, but they were pretty happy about it, and the way their family and the way they structured or really did the research prior to the midnight ability to sign something, they got it.
I'm not putting that comment up, Dr. Love. You trying to get me knocked, bro.
Man, he crazy.
You trying to get me knocked, bro.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how all of this works out. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch. But people have been asking me about the NLI, and I've been researching, doing some looking, trying to find out. I haven't been able to see any numbers, so I can see people who may have signed something, but I haven't been able to see numbers. As soon as I see a number, I'll share it. But that's kind of what I know so far, what I've read so far about those deals.
Absolutely.
Hey, it is elite camp time.
Yes, sir.
Everybody,
elite camp season.
Everybody feeling good? Everybody ready
to get back out and watch some basketball?
Are we covering this? The elite camps?
It all depends on which ones you want to go to.
Elite camp, you mean like going to campuses and watching elite camps? Like traveling?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
What are we doing during the elite camp time?
I mean, I've been to a few in the past.
Watching all
but chilling.
I don't really like. It's kind of hard for us to cover those because we would have to drive, and
I'm not.
I'm glad that Dre was traveling to one last week though, because he could.
Let me know what Park Atlanta doing the elite camp. I'll go there.
What is Park Atlanta going to do? Period.
Well,
I'm not really worried about it anyway because Warehouse will be. We always run the AUC, so I ain't tripping off that anyway. You know what I'm saying? What's good?
So what you think about the elite camp you went to last week, Dre?
It was good to see. It was good to see campus. I went to Western Carolina's elite camp.
I've been up there.
They had
ain't much up there, but I've been up there.
They had no, it's not a lot, but it is nice. It's good. It's good.
Oh no, it's very nice campus tucked in the mountains, baby.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, beautiful campus. It's really nice. Beautiful facilities. There's construction cranes all over the place, so they're building a lot of stuff. A lot of buildings are getting built out there. They're doing a lot of stuff, renovating new locker rooms, all that stuff. It was really cool.
Whose phone is that?
That's mine. That's my computer, actually.
Oh, but I know it ain't Bryce.
I thought he was giving me points. I thought every time it rang, I was saying something good.
Why you mean you know what it means?
Man, your shit don't be talking like that, man.
But there were
I'm in a group text.
There was a lot of good players there, a lot of Georgia kids. I don't want to put nobody on blast. They may not, want people to know that they were there. Maybe they did, but you can see there were some offers that went out. A lot of kids got offers.
Yeah, a lot of not 2022 kids from what I seen. More than it just seemed like 2023s. And I think
younger kids being offered. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 24s. I think there were more 24s than even than 23s. So those were the offers. That we had some interesting tweets that brought up some conversation in our group chat. I think
you gonna post them?
Post a tweet? Can I read it, or do I need to actually post it?
Just read it.
It don't matter to me.
Just read it.
Okay.
You gotta say it from me as well.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
I mean, he already tweeted it. It's out there, like it's on his profile. So
it is. I don't think we're saying anything that coach will be upset with us reading out. Let me. I thought I had this up. Okay, here it is. I got it. This tweet is from Coach AD, and he is Coach_AD24 on Twitter, and it says, "I don't understand these college elite camps with having the class of 22 there if you're not giving any offers to them. Maybe I'm missing something, but why don't you have just the younger classes go if you're not offering?" And he goes on to say, "The reason for this conversation, I just had a 22 go to a camp, and a coach told his high school coach he was the best 22 in the building, and to ride back home and see 23 and 24s offered and say we don't have offers for 22 right now. Why would you tell me to come?" So he's basically saying, if you know before I come, you're not offering anyone in my class, why would you tell me to come to your camp?
Well, can I say that I think he does make some valid points. But however, what happens is they still want to look at you. And then when their season ends or in December, those of us that know who have kids in college, we know that those kids sometimes transfer in December and January. They're like, forget it, I'm out.
Yeah.
At that point, they know, or they will know in the future who's coming back and how many offers they have for next year. I understand 2022, it's tight right now. And so a lot of those kids might be next on the list. They still had to see them. And hopefully if they get a transfer or somebody says, whatever the case may be, they get rid of somebody, then hopefully that kid is next on the list to get offered in the spring. So I think they still had to get seen. If they got an invite, I still think it's a good thing. And I think part of it, even from the AAU standpoint, from the coaches, we were kind of frustrated too, because it's like we felt like a lot of our kids performed well and they didn't really get anything from July. So it's very similar along the lines of the elite camps in AAU. Is like, man, some of these kids are performing in the 2022 class, I'm saying, and they just didn't get a lot. So I think that's part of what it is, man. A lot of them are going to have to just sit back and wait. And what's more important is they're going to have a good high school year too.
Yeah. I look at it like this as well too, just from talking to a ton of coaches. Because you're the best player don't mean you're the best fit.
Yeah.
So we always have to look at it because you're the best. That doesn't mean you're the best fit for that program. But I think with a Division I school telling this kid or telling this high school coach, hey, you was the best 2022 kid, it's some positive that comes out of that.
That's a major confidence booster too.
Yeah, you are a college player.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the circumstances that we're in, there's going to be a lot of players that can play Division I, playing Division II, or playing NAIA.
Or JUCO and trying to wait out. Yeah.
Whichever way. Or going to prep. We look at a kid like Sammy Fries, who just not getting all these Division I offers. I don't know. He's getting them for 2021 and 2022, but he's still going prep, and we all knows he's a Division I player.
Yeah, and then the thing about it, especially with that staff up at Western, it's a new staff. They're trying to figure out some things. I mean, it's no knock on them per se, and I understand the coach's frustration. When you make the trip up there, the kid performs. They might have said, okay, we've offered 6 different players in terms of the 22 class. We're going to hold off because we've already seen them more. This is the first look, or maybe even the second look that they've had of a kid. And in some cases, all those kids who went there was probably under that same scope. A lot of people go, all right, when do you expect them to see him? Because some of them coaches aren't going to be out again. And if they are, they're attending JUCO events, JUCO jamborees and things of that nature. So you're going to have a lot of people. Then you have comments of people go, well, it's a money grab. Like, let's be real. Somebody, if it was in the y'all wouldn't complain. People complain about money grab in the summer, spring, fall, whenever. Like, how do you expect these things to run? How do you know how you avoid a money grab? Don't go. But some of y'all still went.
But and that's a great. I don't really even think it's a money grab for bigger schools. Like,
it's not.
They're not.
It's not.
Money up. Like,
I've been to Western Carolina's stuff. Like, dude, they don't charge an exceptional amount of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's the having to get there, having to get it, get up early enough to drive so people be like, oh, it's a long day. So you're telling me a tank of gas, and even if that 22 would have got the offer, they weren't going to commit right then and there.
He wasn't.
All right. So it's like, you're searching for an offer that you're not willing to commit right on the spot. All right. Because if the whole journey is to, let's go get an offer. Yeah, you go up there, they take you on a campus tour, you get to see the campus, you get to see the gym, you get to see everything that you need. And then if they offer you either right there on the spot or in your car once you get cell phone reception outside of Color Week, are they going to basically be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to commit right away? No, it doesn't happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have people like complain like, oh, if you see them all year, all travel season, why do you not make this offer? And why does a kid got to go to elite camp? I'm going to use the analogy of, you see a car, a car drives, but you're not going to buy that car the very first time you drive it. You're going to check out some things and test out some other things. So you got to keep looking. And that's what
Bryce, how many times you test drove your range?
One time.
Yeah, but that's you were committed to that though. But you were committed to that. You know what I'm saying? You were committed to that, and they gave you a deal that you couldn't turn away.
Yeah.
All right, but let's be real. Most of the people who go to camp of the next year, meaning of 22 in this case, none of them are committing right away.
No, they're not.
You know what I'm saying? But they just want to be able to walk away and say, "Oh, I got an offer from there." For what?
I think for some people, it's an insult to be invited to an elite camp if you're a high-profile, high score AAU kid, and I think they're like, elite camp. You know what I did, bro. Like, you gonna sit up here and act like you don't know what I did in high school. Like, come on, bro. You're a college basketball coach. It's your job to know.
You're right. But some of them didn't know. That's I'm not making any excuses, but that staff took the job late.
Yeah, I think they got it.
I'm not talking about them I'm just saying in general, like just
right.
Some elite camps are asking kids to come, and it's like, why do I need to come to elite camp? You've already know what I can do.
Correct.
You already know what I've done.
I think there's something to be said for that, Bryce, honestly. And again, I'm not talking about any specific staff either, but I think in my opinion, I understand the coach's frustration and I will understand the kids' frustration. We're talking about many kids, right? As I'm talking to my guys, many kids are trying to choose, have been invited to multiple elite camps and trying to choose which elite camps that they can attend. And when you're talking about going out of town, yeah, it may only be one tank of gas this day, but it's that may not be the only elite camp that you've been invited to, and the only thing that, from a schedule standpoint, that you're trying to work out of where you're going to go. I think it's from a communication standpoint. I think if you know that coming in, right, number one, you've seen the kid play. If he got invited to your elite camp, you've seen him play, or at least you should. I hope coaches aren't inviting kids that they haven't even seen out to elite camp. I'm sure that's happening, but I hope that's not happening so much. So I want to work off the assumption that you've seen the kid play. If you've seen him play, I think it's only fair to communicate that, to say, hey, look, we don't have any scholarships for 2022 right now, but we do want to see you. We do want to evaluate you against these other guys that we are that are in this pool of players that we're interested in. And if something happens, we want to pull the trigger, right? Yeah. If something opens up, we want to put a trigger. I think it would be fair to communicate that, instead of that player going to a camp and playing well, only to find out on the way home, especially if you've passed up another opportunity to go, right? If they don't have anything for 2022, then that player could have said, okay, well, coach, man, come to my school. These are my workouts. Here's my schedule. Let's work something out. Da, 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 da. If you have another date, this and third, but this school has a spot open and they have a elite camp on the same day.
Yeah,
I'm going to go here.
But you know how you solve that? The same thing that we're talking on right now. You get on your computer, all right, and you check that team's roster on any possible guys any possible players who are graduating. And then once you make that decision, all right, because for every person graduating, there's a possible scholarship opening, all right. And then after you do that, you take the virtual tour of that campus and you analyze whether you want to drive the 2.5, 3 hours to get to a certain school, and do they have what you're looking for in terms of major. You can eliminate all those stresses prior to getting there, all right, because there's some in-state schools that are having elite camp, and some of them are looking for players in 22, some aren't. But is it where you want to go to school? Would you be interested in going to that school? Because again, in some of these players' cases, this may be the only school that offers you. Are you really willing to go there and commit? So it varies. And the reason I believe coaches are unable to really make that communication of, we don't have nothing in that class or whatever, is because they don't want to put themselves in a situation where if something opens up in that class and they end up offering someone else when that other kid might have been available or might have expressed some interest to get into the school, then it becomes like, y'all lied to me. You know what I mean? And you just got coaches that don't want someone to get caught up in misinformation.
I think if the AAU coach has a relationship with the coaching staff, they'll tell you what they got open for the following year.
Yeah.
If there's no relationship, then you going into a blindfolded, and if you get an offer, that's fantastic. If you don't, then that's part of the game. You know what I mean? But we've talked to numerous coaches like
I agree with you, Huff.
You know what I mean? And they will tell us like, man, I'm kind of just here. Like, I don't really only got one, and I don't know what we're gonna do. So,
yeah, I think
all this to me just shows how hard it is to go Division I, especially now. And I think people don't really know the ins and outs of it. And I think it's like, nah, bro. It's one, you got to be really good and you have to play the right way. Two, it's always it's a dynamic between how many kids are going to offer, how many scholarships they have, and when can you commit?
Right. See, most of the thing about the class of 22, what's hurting them is a lot of guys came back. A lot of guys got that extra year. So that's what's hurting the 22s. All right, which is why the 23s and 24s, and I've always felt this because of what we all just have gone through, that recruiting won't, I'm not going to say level itself out, But hold on.
I gotta put it on a speakerphone now.
We gotta get right.
That must be Jada Kiss.
I'm on the radio podcast.
Hey. That must be Jada Kiss calling.
Hey,
is it Worldwide West? Is it Worldwide West?
Nah.
Fresh West.
But not like I just think a lot of people in the recruiting space, the class of 23 and 24 got an advantage over a lot of 22s.
Yep.
You know, and there are more scholarship spots because one thing that, especially we just came out of the live period, most of those coaches, they're watching 22s, and 9 times out of 10, once they get to that Sunday, especially on the very last weekend of the live period, they're looking at the 23s and 24s.
Yeah.
So they can start building their list, start projecting on players that whether they want to invite them to the elite camp or not, start looking at those kind of kids. Whereas again, the 22s, they don't have that luxury because kids are returned. College kids have gotten the extra year. High school kids got to play by the same rules.
Y'all cold, man.
Hey man, these new guys. We got it. He's the OG, but he's still a new guy.
Hey, listen, no question.
They call him a rookie. Okay.
Huff asked a great question. How much elite camps should they be?
Probably $75 to $100.
I say 75 to 50.
I think 50, 75 is a good number, Locke.
50, 75 is a great number.
Locke, how much is your camp?
That ain't my camp.
A camp is a camp. I mean,
because my camp is going to have exposure to everybody, not to just
one. So your camp is better than elite camp going to Georgia State.
For freshmen, yeah. Like, okay, what is a freshman going to benefit from going to an elite camp as a rising ninth grader?
Probably nothing. Well, never know. I mean, they looking at that grade.
Average ninth grader.
Oh yeah. Well, we ain't talking about no average kids. So.
That's what I'm saying. But I think like 75 to 50 bucks. If elite camps are charging 150 to 175, it's like 125, and you only getting a t-shirt. You ain't getting no tweets, no articles.
Yeah, that's one thing. You're not getting no tweets.
Video.
That's tough.
You know, but 550. And I feel like too, kids have to go to not only Division I elite campus.
That's the problem, though. That's all people want to go to, and then they get discouraged when they don't get what they want.
Like, we had a kid that went to a couple
Zion Future.
Yeah, he went to some Division II and some lower level elite camps and got offered from them.
He went Albany State. He went there elite camp
hard and got offered both of them. He was 2 for 2.
Yeah. So I look at stuff like Huff got an elite camp coming up. August 21st?
22nd.
22nd. He has his elite camp, and I'm like, that's a camp that people. Hey, we know Huff. Huff will pass out some offers.
Hey, he had this one queued up quick, boy.
Hey.
Yeah, but look at the very bottom of that. There's only 50 spots available. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get seen.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of Voorhees and their staff is gonna watch you. And yes, there's gonna be some people from Atlanta and Georgia there, but there's gonna be teams and probably other programs, other college programs who may pop their head in just to see who they can pick up in the process. Because that doesn't stop other programs, other Division II programs to come see you, and that's the thing where, again, you guys did the right thing to encouraging Zion to go to these other elite camps, because these schools may not have the proper budget or haven't been outside, because some of them we know have not been outside.
And let me tell you, when he went to those elite camps and he got offered or whatever, and then in the following weeks after that, he ended up going on visits and stuff like that. The scholarship money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, and again, he put himself in a situation where now he does have some real options.
Yeah.
But as a kid, or even as a kid and parent, sometimes you have to be open to other levels, and I think that's what the issue is too.
Mm-hmm.
People only we going Division One. If it ain't Division One, it ain't nothing, and that's not if you aspire to play basketball at the next level, it's not the only level. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to be open to the other stuff. Even if it's a JUCO camp, they have JUCO elite camps too.
As the great Corey Black says, D free, baby.
D free, yeah. Because I think my guy at Gordon College, Coach Capers, had one this summer.
Chipola always has them, plenty of them. So
because again, everything can change within 6 months.
Any
advice for kids going into those camps?
Man,
play your strength.
leave your cool bag at home and bring your dog bag with you, baby.
Hey, especially the camps, they are not, if they're like from 2 to 5,
right?
It's not a long
3 hours. You got 3 hours.
Oh.
Yes, they do, Huff. D2s and NAIAs are at a lot of camps.
You have to give it your all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if it's only a 2 or 3 hour camp, you should be going hard for that 3 hours, and hopefully you're making shots. If you can knock down shots, you're gonna make yourself look good, no matter where you go. You know what I mean? You got to be able to shoot the ball. You shoot the ball and you play hard, you probably got a chance.
I agree. Playing hard is definitely the most important thing.
And showing that you can impact the game even without scoring, without the ball.
Without the ball, yep.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see. I'm pretty sure if Huff see a kid dive for a loose ball 2 or 3 times and take a charge, he's gonna keep his eye on that kid because Huff is not gonna try to just find scores.
He's gonna write his name down.
He's gonna write his name down and keep track of him.
But I do want to answer this question. It's popped up a couple times.
Some credit though. I got to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, Huff
like top 5, the toughest critic.
Tough to evaluate your game, boy. If Huff like you probably
good.
Probably like you too.
Yeah. Hey, you're a mid-major.
Yeah, at least.
If Huff likes you, you're a mid-major. No, I think it's great, and shout out to Huff. I do think. I think saying that he is.
We can't talk about Huff right now because he just offered somebody, so we can't talk about him anymore.
No, I'm saying I think when I look at his recruiting class and what he's been able to bring in, right? I think it's fair to say he's a tough evaluator, but he's been able to get kids that can really play. That, you know, all due respect to everybody involved, may have not been in Denmark, South Carolina before Huff. When you can get good kids, right, and you can really recruit, then I don't know if there's anything wrong with Huff is not grading on the curve. That's for sure.
He's definitely not. No extra credit here, baby.
You gotta be able to play. That overtime league starts in September. That's all I know. Is this supposed to start in September?
They have look, just about every kid. Well, let me rephrase that. The kids that they have on the roster are you have the twins from Team Breakdown.
Yeah.
You have the twins from Florida Pro. So that's 4. You have Gene Montero, that if you have never had a chance to see this kid, he turned pro at 16 and he is legit. Then you have, who's the other kid that they, Emmanuel. He's another kid from Florida. It seemed like they got their rosters half littered with players from Florida. You know, they had a kid, Emmanuel, who played with Julian Newman at Downey School down in Florida, and he's another one who this league was meant for him because he's got not only an overtime following, he's got some skills that are exceptional So they're gonna have some kids. They've signed some kids from overseas. They've signed a few kids, I think, from California. But yes, as Dre said, it'll be in September and it'll be in Atlanta.
I know they started building the spot. I saw some pictures of it.
Yep.
I think it's in Atlantic City.
Yeah, they're putting some money behind it because they're gonna have all the apartments there for them to basically have no excuses and try to keep them.
Who's gonna be watching them in downtown?
That's a great question, and you know who's gonna be doing.
They better have security to not let them off the campus because they're gonna be in the city.
Yeah, because you handed them access to $500,000.
They gonna try no sweet Lou wings at Magic City.
Yep.
Gonna be up Cheshire Bridge. Hopefully they don't end up Bankhead anywhere.
As we get ready to close, you want to do a South got something to say?
Oh yeah, man. Y'all going down this Saturday. I'm heading down to Albany. My guy EJ Brown.
You're not gonna be the only one there.
Oh, you coming down?
Yeah, man.
Oh man, you coming down to the city?
I gotta go get some Maryland's, man. I gotta be there.
Hey, we gotta hit up Maryland's, man. But me and Mondre is heading down to the Benny. It's gonna be a definitely good event for South Georgia kids, and some Middle Georgia kids are gonna be there. Definitely is gonna be some good competition, and it's gonna be some college coaches. I think got some NAIA and some JUCO coaches that's gonna be heading out there. So definitely a good event that I'm looking forward to attending. Definitely looking at some of the best kids that South Georgia has to offer.
That's for sure. It'll be my first trip going to Albany, specifically to be in Albany.
Oh man,
I'm not passing through. I'm actually coming to be in Albany.
Hey. I know why you're coming too.
No, I gotta support EJ.
No, I know that, but I know another reason why you're coming.
I got a kid planning an event.
Now, okay, I got a third reason. You trying to South Georgia players from Man Up now?
hey, listen, Locke. How long have I been saying that? Give me a South Georgia kid. Give me a South. Hey man, I've been saying it for a minute.
Hey, I bet you he'll have a Georgia Man Up shirt on this Saturday.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Which, by the way, congratulations on the Lee Dorsey kid going to Albany Tech.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Is that where he's at?
Yep. Good kid. So.
Oh yeah, damn, Dre, Mike can take you to the sand trap.
Yeah, hey man, we trying, but I'm going. Gotta support EJ. That's number one. That's somebody that's been that's been around and doing great things for a long time. Got Lathan Levens is gonna be come on, yeah, man. Lock them been right beside his shirt 3 times.
Oh.
It's right in my car. He still didn't get it. Lathan Levens is gonna be playing that event, so gotta support the Man Up kid. Lathan doing his thing. Really proud of him. So, yeah, man, we're gonna get it done. I do want to say this though before we go, because I feel like this is getting overlooked. And all the madness that you see on social media, especially like a lot of stuff that's aimed towards Black men. Mm-hmm. I do just want to highlight, like, we have a whole community, a whole basketball community that is helping hundreds, if not thousands, probably thousands of kids every single year. That a lot of it is run by Black men.
Yeah.
For all that they say about Black dads, think about how many Black dads are constantly in the gym and what their kids are doing. You know, like Rideout didn't have to take time out of his time to coach teams his kid could play, and could have done that, you know, without him doing that. And so many other people, you know, taking their time, like you know, Sean on the radar, like that's another Black dad that's out here creating a platform for the community. So when we talk about how good the basketball is in Georgia, not only Black guys, right? There are a lot of other people who are involved, but for all the negative that gets said about black men and being selfish and not helping the community and not showing up for kids or their families and all that. And here you have a whole ecosystem of black men who are really doing big things in the community. So I just wanted to shout out everybody on that.
Yeah. And why you say that, Dre? Me and Bryce was at Chicago Pizza last Saturday. We walk in, you know, it was a ton and Arrington pops, Kyle Hansen pops. What's the other kid name? He was at Birthmark. He's going to TSF now. Snyder. Yeah, like all those dads was at Chicago Pizza, and we sat there and just talked basketball the entire time. And they, you know, complimented how much they watched the show. Mr. Arrington told us how much he learned of different things from this show that he didn't know. So, like you said, you know, it's a very tight community. Like you say, it's good that we support each other.
For sure. For sure. Want to shout out everybody doing work. Want to shout out all the dads. We talk about doing something for Mother's Day one time. We need to do something for Father's Day too, because just want to just acknowledge people for doing great things, right? I mean, even Marcus at SUV TV highlighted like this. We have an entire, when I say entire ecosystem, it's more than just games and jerseys, right? From evaluators, scouts, to media coverage, to, you know what I mean, broadcast. Like it's a full blown ecosystem that's helping these kids get to where they need to get to. So, man, I think that's all I had. I know y'all don't want to talk about how good these Lakers are going to be. I know you guys don't even want to discuss that, do they, Bryce? They don't even want to talk about it.
Nah. All they want to say is they too old, which just sounds crazy, but whatever.
Hey, will they break that 73-9?
No way.
Nah. No.
No way. What are you talking about?
That's not gold.
All right.
I think they'll probably win about 62 games.
I can see that.
They want to hear about the draft.
What about it?
I think Sharif Cooper went a little too late. I'm glad he's on the Hawks.
Two-way deal.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Yes, he is, Huff.
This is my thing. With what Miami did, Huff, y'all not even in the picture anymore. I'm not even looking at the Hawks in the East anymore. So
wow.
we wanted to have a championship conversation. So that's why I brought the Lakers up.
The Hawks had their chance to win this year, and I think that's going to be tough for them next year because the Bulls are tough and Miami is tough. So hope they enjoyed it.
I didn't say that I thought that they would. I asked the question.
Nah, they won't.
Now, here's what I will say that they will do.
That's not their end game.
Unless Anthony Davis gets hurt, they're going to win a championship.
Yeah, they win a championship. They should win a championship. Yeah, they should win it.
It's over.
Yeah.
And the Hawks will be back to mediocrity.
The Hawks not winning a championship this year on the referee. Trae Young stepping on his foot.
Hey, man, I like to bother Huff about.
And that referee lives in Atlanta.
Wow.
Golden State is a sleeper.
Yeah, Golden State will be back, and Moses Moody is tough.
Golden State is a sleeper for sure.
I wouldn't say sleeper, but it's Golden State. Klay Thompson will be back. Curry is already there.
That's true. If Wiseman takes the leap, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm hearing Hassan Whiteside to the Lakers, though.
I think he got picked up by somebody today.
Oh, did he?
I think it wasn't the Lakers. Well, I could be wrong. I got to double check.
You see that Schroeder deal is still hanging out there.
Schroeder's done.
Schroeder will be back in Europe playing. He'll be all right.
Going to get a little sign and trade for somebody. Somebody going to pick him up.
Yeah, somebody will pick him up in the league, I think.
Y'all really do like Schroeder, I see.
Nah, I think he's an NBA player.
I've never been a fan.
I was just mad that they called him Rondo. I was offended. On draft night, they called him Rondo. Offended. But that's our show, man. Love you guys. I'm glad everybody was able to catch up. Fall leagues are starting. Getting ready for high school. Fall leagues are starting. Workouts are starting, man. Hey, go to preseason conditioning. That's the only advice I have. Definitely go.
No, go to conditioning before you go to preseason conditioning.
Do high school coaches still make kids run on the track? That shit's so pointless.
You don't like it, Bryce?
That shit's stupid, bro. That shit doesn't relate to basketball. Anyway, never mind. I don't want to take no more time up. I'm hungry. So.
Oh, we coming back to this next week, Bryce. We coming back to this next week.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Bryce got issues with preseason.
Now
I feel him on that though.
It's stupid, bro.
But hey, man. Hope everybody has a good weekend. But we'll see y'all next week. That's our show.
Yes, sir.